I'm gonna mute this. Ooh. Ooh. Feel a little itch in my throat, cough, itch. Yeah. Okay. What's up, guys? My name is Oscar, known as Soda Boy on Instagram, and today I have a new video where I'm gonna show you my technique when it comes to editing eyes. Alright, so this isn't the best way to go about editing eyes or sharpening in any matter. It's just the way I do it and it's my technique. So let's just jump right into it. Today I'm showing you a photo of Joelle. Joelle's a model that lives in Iowa on my way to Chicago for a wedding. So what we ended up doing is I shot a little bit of freelance work for Love Your Melon. So right now we're in a small town in Iowa. We're in kind of the downtown area. This is right around 6 o'clock. So right around that blue hour. So I already did some frequency separation, as you can tell over here on layer 1. On group 1. Layer 1's the blemishes that I did. But now we're on layer 2 here, which is all these layers just combined. So what I'm going to go ahead and do first off is go into filter, other, and then we're going to do a nice high pass filter. I keep the radius at about 10. I then go over here and jump into the layer and I switch it to overlay. So this is just showing you already how sharpened it is, but for me I want more control on what's being sharpened here. So what we're gonna go ahead and do to do that is go ahead and put a mask. Once you do the mask, you can now have full control on what you want sharpened. My eyes for me is my main focal point. So we're gonna go ahead and reduce the brush to about 50%. And then we're going to go ahead and zoom in. If you want to go ahead and see exactly what you're clearing out or what you're exactly drawing in, if you put the backspace right above the return key on a Mac, it's going to go ahead and put everything in red. This allows you to go ahead and see exactly where you're drawing. I'm going to go right around the retina, about 50%, and then another 50%, so it's fully sharpened, that eye right there. I'm going to do it to both sides. Awesome. So then I'm going to go over the eye one more time, and now we're going to go ahead and go over the wide area. Awesome. The retina right here is still fully sharpened while everything else is kind of blending in. And then I zoom out. I'm going to go ahead and then reduce my brush to about 10% because I don't want that full sharpen to be all over the image, or at least her whole face and body. So we're at a 10% brush, and now we're going to go ahead and go over her whole body. Okay. And this is just part of the step. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen her face as well. Okay. So now you can see it's very subtle, but if you go ahead and take that adjustment off, you'll notice the eyes are very sharp now. So now that's part of the step. What we're gonna go ahead and do now is we're gonna get a curves layer. This part is honestly, when it comes to the curves on the eye especially, this is all user focused, I'd say. For me, I used to do really super bright eyes right around the retina area, right in there, just explode, but it kind of looked super fake, honestly. So I've kind of leaned back into that. So I'll show you, like I said, my technique. Everyone's will be different, but this is just the way I go about it. So what I like to go ahead and do is drag this down to about the 20 area for input. So bring those nice blacks in there while also lifting that up a bit so we can get that color back from the retina, and then also boosting the lows a little bit to pick up from that left eye that you see that was covered. Not too much on that. Okay. So that looks good. So obviously we don't want the full image like this. So with the curves tool, you already see that there is a mask. It's just white. So if you hit Command I, it'll go ahead and invert this mask over here. Right over here, it's gonna go ahead and invert that. So now you have the ability to go ahead and bring my opacity back to 100% and bring my flow to 10%, which will then, like I said, give me control of where I want that curves to be. So we're gonna go right here in this eye. There you go. Oh, I already messed up. And like I said, if you want to see exactly where you're drawing, you're just going to go ahead and hit that backspace right above the return key. It's very subtle, but it's getting in there right now. Honestly, I think it's just too much So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and this opacity over here and drop that down to about 60%. And if I zoom out, it's going to kind of show me like, okay, look at that, that's perfect. Not too much, not too little. Like I said, if I do the 100%, it looks a little too fake. So that's why I'm going to go back to 60%. So now that we finished with the curves tool, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I created a new layer. With this new layer, we're going to go ahead and now draw on the eye itself with the brush. The flow right now is at a 10%. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, right where you see the black around her eye, it's exactly where we're going to go ahead and use our brush. We're just going to go ahead and basically darken that in. It's kind of like dodging and burning, but with dodging and burning you use your curves. We're just using the brush and we're just going ahead and darkening the line around the retina. So now we're going to go ahead and take the brush and we're going to get a white. So this, we're going to go ahead and draw right around here, because that's going to go ahead and take that white and brighten it up once we go ahead and put an overlay over this. And then what I like to do is I like to go over right on the edge again, the black, to kind of just blend it in very lightly. Just a nice blend so it fades out. And then I like to do a nice 25% for opacity and then overlay. So super subtle, just adds a nice little glow. Okay, so that's it for Photoshop when it comes to the eye work. So let's go ahead and jump into Lightroom and then you'll see my process in there for how I finish the eyes up. You'll see a little bit of speed edit real quick of me actually just going through the colorization, and then I'll show you right at the end on how I finish the eyes up. So just watch a quick little speed edit on how I get this picture to its final form. So what I like to go ahead and do is do some dodging and burning around the eyes. So I already have my own custom brush set. So I go ahead and do a burn around her eyebrows. Just go ahead and make those pop a little bit around the eye area. So basically anything that's dark, I just go ahead and darken. And then I'll go ahead and use another one, and this is just the stock burn tool right around the pupil. And then I go ahead and take the dodge. I cycle between my own dodge tool that I have and then the stock one here in Lightroom, depending on how dark the eye is. And then sometimes the hues for the blues will mix with this eye work, especially with my preset that I have over it. So then what I go ahead and do is just saturation. I just pull that back a little bit so that the blue is taken out. Sometimes I'll go in Photoshop and completely unsaturate the blue from the eye with the mask tool and then the color selection. But this is sometimes just a little bit easier if I'm feeling honestly just kind of lazy. So there, that's what I do for the eyes. So that was it from start to finish, my Photoshop to my Lightroom. That is what I do for eye work. It's fairly simple. It's nothing crazy. It's just things I've picked up from other artists, other things on YouTube. Flern, I always shout that account out so many times. Just a lot of things that I've picked up and then that I've combined it, or I've at least made into my technique that I use today. Any questions, shoot me an email, shoot me a comment, shoot anything. Like and subscribe down below, link to my Instagram below if you want to see the full set of images that I did from that shoot. Other than that, have a good weekend, cause I don't know how to exit these things. Bye, 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 bye.